Hi gang, here's a quick little video. Going to go through a couple of problems here on quadratics and quadratics word problems, and then I'm going to have you do a couple on here as well. So follow along and you can copy down the notes as we go through. So the first question says a person standing on the ground throws a ball directly upward. The height of the ball is in feet. It's given after t seconds is given by that equation there. Negative 16t squared plus 42. Graph the equation and determine the following. The maximum height of the ball, how long it will take for the ball to hit the ground, how high the ball will be after 1 second, and after how many seconds will the ball once again be at this height. So first things first, it says to graph the equation. We know that this is a quadratic equation, so we know that it's a parabola and that it goes upside down. So if we wanted to graph the equation real quick, what we could do, let me pull that up. All right, so we can make a short little XY table. And since we know that it is a quadratic equation, the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and figure out the vertex. X equals negative b over 2a. So in this case, it would be negative 40 divided by negative 32, which is going to be 1.25. So that's the x value that I want to start with. Then I want to go on either side of it. So I can do 1.5 and I can do 1 and I could do 0 and I could do 2. And then I want to grab my calculator and I want to plug 1.25 into that equation. So if I do negative 16 times 1.25 squared plus 40 times 1.25, I get 25. That's going to be our vertex. Then I can plug in 1.5. So if I do negative 16 times 1.5 squared plus 40 times 1.5, I get 24. And then I can plug 1 in and I'm going to get 24. And if I plug 0 in, I get 0. And if I plug in 2, negative 16 times 4 plus 40 times 4. Sorry, not 40 times 4, 40 times 2. Negative 16 times 2 squared is 4, plus 40 times 2, I get 48. And then you can graph wait, I did something wrong there. Sorry, it's not that. It's negative 16 times 4 plus 40 times 2. 16. Bad, that would be good. And so then you can make a chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I plug in 0, I get 0. If I plug in 1, I get up here at 24. 1.25 would be there. 1.5 would be there. And 1 second's up. So then it should be something like that. All right, so it looks something like that. Not exactly like that, but something like that. We want to find the maximum height of the ball. Well, that's our vertex. We just found that a minute ago. So that's 25 feet. How long will it take for the ball to hit the ground? That's letter B. The height of the ground is 0. So I can set 0 equal to negative 16t squared plus 40t, and I can solve. All right, so if I factor out a t, I get t parentheses negative 16t plus 40. And then I solve each one. T equals 0. Negative 16t plus 40 equals 0. And if I solve that one, I'm going to wind up getting 40 divided by 16. It's 2.5. Oh, come back. 2.5. So it takes 0 and 2.5. How high will the ball be after 1 second? I found that over here. It'll be 24 feet. And how many seconds will the ball once again be at this height? Notice over here, I found that here also, 1.5 seconds. All right, and that's it for that one. So that's how you would solve an equation like that. All right, so let's scroll down to the next one. It says engineers are designing a stretch of highway in a valley. They want to install a storm drain at its lowest point. We notice that this is another quadratic. It's got a squared, which means the lowest point is the vertex. So all it's asking you to do is find the vertex. We know the formula for vertex, negative b over 2a. So it would be 0.06 divided by 2 times 0.00005 equals. Use your calculator, so I'll go off to my calculator. 0.06 divided by 2 times 0.00005. And I get 600. So x is 600. So y then, I need to plug in 600 into this formula. 0.0005 times 600 squared minus 0.06 times 6. So plug all that in. 0.00005 times 600 squared minus 0.06 times 600. And I get negative 18. So the coordinates of the storm drain would be 600, comma, negative 18. Right? That would be the coordinates. All right, you do the next. Look at the next question. I apologize for the noise in the background, but this is the middle of a passing period. So the track team is selling golf shirts embroidered with the HH logo, and a survey is taken that reveals the following. Now, one thing to realize is if we go and we think about profit is going to equal how many shirts are they able to sell? Let's call that the number. Times how much do they sell them for? So for example, if they sell 200 shirts at $25 a shirt, that's $5,000 profit. Now they realize that if they lower their price, they can sell more shirts. And they also realize that they need $67.50 for profit. Now for number of shirts, they can start at 200, but they can sell more shirts if they lower their price. In fact, they would sell 25 extra shirts for every dollar. Here's a message coming across the loudspeaker. For money, they know they can start with $25 and then they can subtract $1. Every time they subtract $1, they add on $25 shirts. So see what I'm doing here. I'm starting with their base, 200 shirts and 25 at $25. Every dollar they lower it, they can add 25. So this is our equation. So we need to solve this equation. 6750 equals multiply 5,000 plus, then we do 625x minus, then we have to multiply 200 times x minus 25x squared. And now if I subtract 6750, I get 0 equals negative 1750 plus 400x minus 25x squared. Now I notice right off the bat that if I divide by negative 25, I get something pretty easy to work with. If I reach for my calculator and I divide 1,750 divided by 25, I get 70. So I get 0 equals 70. 400 divided by 25 is going to be negative 16x. And then 25 divided by 25 is x squared. So that is 0 equals x squared minus 16x plus 70. Oh, I can't add. Sorry, that's 425. That was a mistake. 425, which means that's 17. Ooh, even better, 17, because now it factors. And I can factor it into x minus 7 times x minus 10. So the answer is x equals 10 or x equals 7. Now it says find the larger number of shirts. So I'm starting with 200 shirts. plus 25 times 10, that's 450 shirts. So that's how many shirts they should sell. And that would give them a profit that they want. Okay, try the next question with the butcher on your own. And when you're ready, you can come back and we'll take a look at the last one. All right, so here's the last question. It's the same as the previous question, same idea. We know our basics. They want the revenue function. So the revenue function is going to be how many cards can they sell? It says last year they sold 400 and they sold them for $30. This year they know that if they drop it, so if they subtract 25 cents a couple of times, they would be able to sell 50 more cards. So plus 50x. So there's our revenue function. So we can FOIL that out and get 400 times 330, which would be 12,000, minus 400 times 25 is 100x, plus 50 times 30 is 1500x, minus 50 times 0.25, 50 times is going to be 1250 x squared. And if I simplify that, my revenue then would be negative 1250 x squared plus 1400x plus 12,000. All right, so all of that is letter A for the revenue function. Letter B says find the maximum. Well, a maximum is the vertex, so I need to find the vertex. So x is going to equal negative 1400 divided by 2 times negative 1250. And that's going to equal, all right, I'm going to reach my calculator. Negative 1400 divided by negative 25, and I get 56. So x equals 56. And then I'm going to plug that back into here, and that's going to give me my max revenue. So I get negative 12.5 times 56 squared plus 1400 times 56 plus 12,000. And that's going to give me $51,200. That is a pretty good profit for the girls' team to make that kind of money. C says, how many cars do they have to sell to reach that number? So C, I actually figured it out already. C is 50. So for C, they would have to sell 400 plus 50 times 56, which equals, let's see, so if I do 400 plus 50 times 56, they would need to sell 3,200 cards. Now the last one, letter D, is the trickier one. We want the revenue to be 27,000. So revenue equals negative 12.5 x squared plus 1400x plus 12,000. And we need to solve that. So I'm going to subtract 27,000 from both sides. 0 is going to equal negative 12.5 x squared plus 1400x minus 15,000. And then I'm going to divide everything by negative 12.5. So 0 is going to equal x squared. Okay, let's see. I hope it goes into it evenly. 1400 divided by 12.5 is 112. So minus 112x. And then 15,000 divided by 12.5 is 1200. So it does. Perfect. So then that factors. X minus 12 times x minus 100. So x equals 12 and x equals 100. And we want the lower price, whichever is the lower price. So the lower price would be the bigger x. So it would be 30 minus 0.25 times 100. So that would be $5. So if they lower the price to $5, they'd be able to sell a lot more cards and they'd be able to make a little bit more money. All right, so you try the rest of them, and I will see you guys on Monday. Good luck.